Did you know a lot of the negative and laws against marijuana legalization is because of old racist and anti-hippie um, messages, pretty much just all about lies, ignoring its benefits? Okay, yeah, so for my informative essay extra credit speech, I wanted to talk about some information regarding marijuana and why it it's not persuasive, but I think it should be a lot more legalized, but that's besides the point. I just wanted to spread some information about marijuana, the history of it, some mental benefits, physical benefits, and just some information about marijuana. So when like not ancient, but when the old colonial people would cultivate tobacco in Virginia and Maryland and Pennsylvania, it was actually at first marijuana. A lot of people don't know this, and that information isn't really readily available because of the war on drugs and old policies. But marijuana was actually a very integral part of the American crop producing farming in colonial times. So it kind of went away after the Civil War. When the textile industry really started to boom, it got replaced with cotton and tobacco. So it kind of got phased out, but it made a reappearance in the early 20th century when, after the Mexican War, a lot of immigrants started immigrating into America, and they brought marijuana along with them. And a lot of the lawmakers and people living along the border and in these states with a lot of Mexican immigrants in them, they were scared of them, and they gave a really bad reputation of marijuana just because it was associated with immigrants, and they're just scared of them. But enough about the history. Um, I wanted to talk about some of the mental advantages that marijuana can bring to you. So, according to Susan Stoner of the University of Washington, her article "Effects of Marijuana on Mental Health" states that marijuana can alleviate anxiety-related impairments in the short term. So, I know I gave my persuasive speech about why you should never vape, but I actually don't smoke weed, and I never have, which is kind of surprising. But I have really bad anxiety. I am on medication for it. It's called Prozac, and I know it benefits a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that do it to kind of take the edge off, and I do support it for them because I do know it helps. I don't inhale anything anymore, and I don't really ever plan on smoking weed, but that doesn't take away from the benefits it can bring you mentally. A lot of people suffer with anxiety in America. Um, we're the country with the most opioids prescribed for anxiety. I'm one of them, and I would love to maybe not have to take medication for it, but I would rather do that than smoke marijuana just because of my stuff with vaping and all the complications I had. But also with the physical benefits of it, from the article 20 health benefits of cannabis that everyone should know, published by Health Europa, says that its benefits include regulating seizures, arthritis pain, it treats irritable bowel syndrome, and can alleviate chronic pain. So I know this firsthand because my grandpa, he he has a medical marijuana prescription, and that really helped him out. He used to not be able to play tennis. He used to not be able to go golf. He couldn't go take my nanny out to dinner because he was in so much pain because of his back and knees. He had to get stem cells, and this didn't help out either. But with his medical marijuana prescription, he can do all of that now. Like at Thanksgiving dinner, he was so energetic and so happy. And I can really just tell it improved his quality of life, which brings me to my next point. Sarah Wolpoff wrote an article titled Medical Cannabis Use Improved Quality of Life, Executive Functioning for Patients, published by the National Association of Science Writers, stated that patients reported improved quality of life. So my grandpa, for example, he can go out and play tennis and golf and take my nanny out to dinner again, which is great for him, and I can tell he has had a greater quality of life, and it is statistically proven that marijuana can. So a lot of this information regarding marijuana, it a lot of older generations have a negative connotation about it because they were raised in the war on drugs era, and their parents were raised when a lot of Mexican immigrants were coming in. So a lot of the information regarding marijuana is actually false. It doesn't make you angrier. It doesn't lower your IQ. I wrote a research paper about it, and I found information proving that wrong. I couldn't find it, and I don't want to misquote something, but like a lot of the negative connotations against marijuana is really just because the Nixon administration wanted to get a bad rep about hippies and anti-war people and the black communities, and that's why people say it makes you angrier and it makes you dumber, just because they wanted everybody to be anti-marijuana. But in conclusion, it raises your quality of life, it gives you mental benefits, it gives you physical benefits, and there's just a lot of good things marijuana can bring to you. And I'm not a smoker, so this is from a completely unbiased source, but marijuana does have many benefits for its users.